Hi and welcome back to another demo of the UK Electrical Simulator. In this video we are going to look at the plus bus button, show you how to change wire lengths, sizes and colours. To do that we will build another simple lighting circuit using a few more components. We will start by adding a consumer unit. Rather than wiring directly back to the terminals on the board, we are going to add a bus circuit by clicking the plus bus button. A small window will appear asking which circuit you want to use. For this lighting example, we will choose C5, a 6 amp RCBO, and then press OK. You will see a small bus component appear and the screen will automatically pan to create space. For this example, I am going to pan the screen back slightly to see the consumer unit, as that makes it easier to understand what the bus component is doing. We can now add our lighting components. Let's place 3 ceiling roses and 3 one-way switches onto the workspace. Instead of wiring these components back to the consumer unit, we can wire them to the bus. But before we do that, let's quickly explain what the bus does. The bus is basically an extension of the consumer unit. When we selected C5, the simulator creates a C5 6 amp bus component. This gives us L5, N5 and E5 terminals, which are internally linked back to the consumer unit's L5, N5 and E5 terminals. In other words, it gives us a much more convenient local connection point for building the circuit without constantly routing wires back to the board. If you want to use a different RCBO, double-click the bus component, choose another circuit, and the bus will update accordingly. There are several buttons on the bus component. We will explore those as we go. The main one to understand for now is the C5 button. Pressing this will energize that circuit, and pressing it again will switch it off. Let's now wire up the first ceiling rows. We will connect L5 to loop 1, N5 to N2, and E5 to E. Before we continue, this is a good point to discuss wires. You may have noticed that when you add a wire to an L terminal, it appears brown. A wire connected to an N terminal appears blue, and a wire connected to an E terminal appears green and yellow. This is built into the simulator to keep things simple and help you work more quickly. However, not every wire is fixed, and there will be times when you need to change a wire's length, size, or color. To do this, we first need to activate the selected wire window. There are 2 ways to do that. First, you can scroll down the components list on the left-hand side and tick the selected wire option. Or, more conveniently, you can press the W button on the bus component. Once that option is active and a wire is selected, the selected wire window will appear on the workspace. You can drag this window anywhere you like, and from there you can change the wire's color, size, and length. For example, this wire is currently set to brown, 1.5 mm squared, and 10 meters long. The color can be changed from the drop-down list, which currently includes 7 color options. Wire sizes range from 1 mm squared up to 35 mm squared, and lengths can be adjusted from 5 centimeters up to 50 meters. Once all changes are made, you can hide the selected wire window again by switching off the W button on the bus component. We will come back to wires in a future video and look in more detail at cable sizing and how wire thickness is displayed on the workspace. Now let's continue wiring the rest of the circuit. We will extend the wiring from the first ceiling rows to the other 2. Connect N3 to N2, loop 2 to loop 1, and then connect the earth terminals, E to E. Next, we will wire the switches. Connect COM to loop 3 and L1 to SWL1 on the first switch, then repeat for the other switches. The more you use the simulator, the quicker and more natural this process will become. And remember, if you make a mistake while routing a wire, just press Escape on your keyboard and then route the wire again. We have mentioned colored sleeving before, but now let's show you how to add or remove it. To do that, simply highlight a wire, then hold down Alt on your keyboard and press the letter B. This will toggle the sleeve color between brown, blue, or no sleeving. We can now finish connecting the remaining earth wires, linking E to E across all components. Energize the circuit by pressing the C5 button on the bus component, then operate the switches to turn the lights on. After that, press the A button on the bus component to activate the current flow animation. Turn the first light off, and you will see that current continues to flow to the other ceiling roses through the line loop and neutral connections. You will also notice the current and power readings on the circuit meter change as each lamp is turned on and off. Obviously, this is not how current flows in an AC circuit. This animation is only a visual aid for training purposes. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, especially if you think this kind of tool would help support your training journey towards becoming a UK electrician.